Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
You know, Zig, I'm going to start here. You probably talk about the Cowboys more than any other team in the National Football League. It's your favorite team and mine. I see my football buddies in Texas are turning in their Cowboys cards and saying, we're done. Not cheering for them anymore. We're auditioning new teams to cheer for. Cowboys fans. Can you explain what they did or didn't do in free agency?
Well, the clear thing is, Rod, you go back to what Jerry Jones said about being all in, okay? And I think the hot take media and maybe the long-term fans thought they're going to spend like it's 1999 all over again. The fact of the matter is they haven't spent on a big-name free agent since Brandon Carr back in late 2000s, early 2010s. I mean, there was a stretch, Rod. It was at 5 years, $50 million. Like, there was a stretch he had one interception over a 3-year span. A hell of a player, but he ain't Dion or Night Train Lane. Wasn't making the impact plays. So I think since then, they've decided to take a more measured approach. So I think people misinterpreted Jera, as I like to say, Jera, in terms of that. So they misinterpreted that they're going to be all in. What he actually said was, in terms of all in, Dak, who seems to be in the news a lot lately and doesn't seem pretty good at this point, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, those are your franchise guys that he is, quote, all in on. So the Cowboys are going to be a team that's going to try to draft well, and then once they do have their stars, and they've been noted for this, to lock them in to long-term deals.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Now,
here's a little secret with what I do at the Rod Pedersen Show, and I've made a career of it. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me, but when you watch my show, I just want you to feel something.
How about that?
Whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're proud, I just want you to feel something. Because a lot of times you'll read a column or watch a show and it's, That's never been the hallmark of what I do. I want to make you think. I want to make you feel something. And it's worked. And if you don't agree with me, I'll be fine.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
That is a fact. Jack, welcome to the RP Show, everybody. We're coming at you live on Game Plus Television. If you're tuned in live, noon Eastern here, we do replay later in the day. And I've also learned that over 80% of our audience actually does tune in later, not when we are live. But anyways, thanks for making it a priority to be with us. Also on Key Radio down there in Atlanta and on the streams. And as of us going into our pre-show 3 minutes ago, we did not have a Darren DuPont. Do we now, Clark? I heard you say, here we go, guys. Does that mean we have Moose or do we not have Moose? Hey, we do. Let's bring him in. Episode number 1204. Moose, you got it ready to go. I'm ready to talk sports. I'm like a bucking horse ready to get out of the stall. But before we do that, I'm excited. You're at Game Plus today. What's popping? What's shaking? Do you have anything that you can inform the masses of what's going on at Game Plus today?
Yeah, nothing official I can let you know yet. And I'm, it looks like I'm in an interrogation room. I'm just in an editing suite to get a little quiet here because it's humming around here, man. Like when I got to town in the summer, there's a vibe around here, but it's humming. There's every time I come back to this place, there's more people in the building, more people humming around, and everybody's in a good mood. So great day this morning.
Good to hear. Say hi to everybody at Game Plus for me. We're in business. We're in the business of being in business. $10 million. What movie? Brewster's Millions. I watched
Brewster's Millions?
We're in the business. Yeah.
Yes.
We're in the business of being in business. And howdy, Game Plus. And I down you in Atlanta, WQE. I watched you this morning, Ryan, on YouTube. That was good, too. So we're ready to rock. We got some of our best hockey buddies coming on the program today. Tim Hunter, Calgary Flames great, and Shane Hnidy, Boston Bruins great, but now of the Vegas Golden Knights. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please? Director Jordan, and we'll go.
What's up?
I don't know about you. But this is all over my timeline today. This is the big story in my world. And I just want to remind everybody, it's the Rod Pedersen Show. It ain't Sports Center. So it's what I care about, and it's the view for sports fans. And I feel like across the coffee shops that you and I would go to, Darren, this is what they would be talking about. Alex Ovechkin scored 2 power play goals. Dylan Strome had a goal and a helper. And the visiting Washington Capitals beat the Calgary Flames 5-2 in the Saddle Dome Monday. Henriks, Lapierre, and Tom Wilson also scored for the Caps, who extended their NHL win streak to 3 games and moved into a playoff spot. For the Flames, Kevin Rooney and Mackenzie Weegar scored. The other 2-game win streak snapped. Now, with 2 goals against the Flames last night, Ovechkin needs 51 to tie Wayne Gretzky, 52 to beat him, and set the all-time NHL goals record. And that is the poll question today for our friends at Key Yorkton Kia. Unleash the future, the Kia EV6 GT at Key Yorkton Kia, where performance and innovation go hand in hand. Go to KeyYorktonKia.com or call 306-783-2772 for more information. The 23 Kia EV6 GT, movement that inspires. Give me a second, Darren, and you've had some time to think about your answer for this. I did look at the polls. It's a bang on, right on the snout, 50-50 between our voters on YouTube and Twitter. 50-50. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think he's going to do it. And I'll tell you why. And it's fantastic. We're going to get Tim Hunter in here later because I think he was at the game last night in the Saddle Dome. So Ovi pops 2, and we're all thinking 52 goals shouldn't be hard, right? I have been studying it all morning. I've gone to websites like the Spot Track and Star Tracker and all these things that are projecting. And I'm really realizing that the analytics don't know bunk. They're like, he's averaged 50 goals over the last 20 years, so based on that, he should be pulling it in like February next year. No, guys, it's March, and he just hit 20, and he's 38, and he's playing like he's got a piano on his back. He's not hitting it. He's not getting it, so I'm voting no. You?
It's such a tough question. I'm going to vote yes, because I think he'll play long enough. Like, I could see him getting to 20 next year, 25 maybe next year if he has a little better pace than he did early. But it's really hard to anticipate a guy taking a spike upwards as he gets older. Like, he may do better than this year, next year, but he's not going to score 40 goals next year. Might be 25. I don't know that it'll get to 30, but he might be in that, vein. So if he plays, I saw on social that, by the end of next year, he's going to get it. Well, he's not. Maybe the year after or the year after that. But I think it's within a 2-3 year window, and I think he'll play 2 to 3 years. So I'll say yes.
By the way, I love the audience. I really do. Obviously, there are customers. John in Edmonton writes in. He says, good morning from a cold Alberta. There are 13 games today in the NHL. And he says the Elks announced their coaching staff yesterday. Some big changes and surprises, Rod. Victor writes in from Winnipeg and says, good measuring stick for the Jets tonight. Scott behind the bench, so the Jets should win at MSG. Guys, just sit back and let us entertain you. You can write in all you want, but here on the Quick Six Show Topics, it's me and Darren's time, and the viewer takeover is later. Now, having said that, I move on to point 2, and it is tonight's games in the NHL. I felt, Darren, like it's a disservice to wait until hour 2 to talk about tonight's games in the NHL when we are now officially in the home stretch. So the Montreal Canadiens visit the Edmonton Oilers in an all-Canadian matchup on a busy night in the NHL. The Oilers looking to bounce back from Saturday's 3-2 overtime loss to the Avalanche. While the Habs have dropped 2 in a row, Montreal head coach Martin St. Louis remains away from the team due to unspecified family reasons. We certainly hope all is okay with him. Vancouver Canucks aim to snap a 2-game slide as they host the Sabres. Vancouver occupies top spot in the Pacific, 8 points up on Edmonton. Elsewhere, Ottawa visits Boston. The Leafs are at Philadelphia, and Winnipeg is in New York facing the Rangers, as the gentleman said. Matt Rempe is back from suspension tonight for New York. So we're very quickly turning our attention to tonight's games. I'm excited about it. We've got a poll on our Instagram. I would invite anybody to go follow us and vote on it. What's the game of the night in the NHL? And running away with it is the Winnipeg Jets at the New York Rangers. And while it's been a little exhausting, Darren, following 82 games, or specifically like 62 of every team's neurotic fans, I got time for it now. I got time for it. Like tonight's game, Winnipeg at the Rangers in November, not that big a deal. Now, hell of a measuring stick. And this talk, that's voted the top game of the night, even including your Leafs at the Flyers, man. And I love that it's in the Eastern time zone. I'll be able to watch it. Is there a bigger game tonight than that for you?
No, that's the big game tonight, and it's going to be great. You want to call games measuring sticks? Yeah, this is kind of it. All these games matter, and you're starting to figure out where you fall, where your game's at when you start playing the best teams. And so this is another one of those nights. A quiet night last night in the NHL with just 2 games. So I think, when you say let's turn our attention early, yeah, like tonight is a night where we're all going to be paying attention. So I can't wait.
Like I say, these first place matchups aren't that big a deal. First half of the season or even up to the All-Star game, but now here in the home stretch, they sure as heck are. By the way, I won the breakaway bets pick last night. I just wanted to throw that out there. And I'm going by based on what my odds-making betting friends say. Who needed it more? I just felt it was very simple. Buffalo needed it more and Washington needed it more. It was only 2 games, but I swept them, Moose. But I also give you your due when you sweep them, too. Just a few fun things before we move on to baseball. And by the way, we got football, too, both CFL and NFL, for those that have tuned in for that. But Martin St. Louis, love him. And the Tampa Bay Lightning last weekend, or 2 weekends ago now, had their Hall of Fame induction. And I sat there and I kind of thought, that's pretty cool, Tampa Bay. They've been around for 30 years. Wonder who all's in it. Got digging around. This year's class was Dave Andreychuk and Brad Richards. And there were only 3 in before that. Phil Esposito, Vincent LeCavalier, and Martin St. Louis. So the Tampa Bay Lightning Hall of Fame could sit at a table of 8 and have spots left over, which, by the way, is not a criticism. It's awesome. It's elite. And I feel like the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing it right. They're not just throwing in any dog named Sue. You know what I mean? Like, who's kissing the owner's ass? Who's been a nice guy or gal? I love it. I love it. And I asked Billy Lindsay here last week if the Panthers have anything like that. And he's like, well, we kind of have a tribute on the concourse, but they don't have any formal Hall of Fame here, man. So it means something. I think that's pretty darn cool,
It's cool. And the other thing is, reasons why you'd put people in the hall. Well, we want to have events. Can't have an event with only 5 Hall of Famers. We need to have 20. So find 20 and get to 20. That's the goal, to get to 20 Hall of Famers. Or the goal is to get to this many, or to induct 4 every year, or whatever the number is. And I'm like, nah, I like that you induct those who deserve it. And yes, you have a shorter history, and so maybe standards are different, but those are deserving Hall of Famers. Those are people synonymous with the organization. I think they're doing a great job.
The Hall of Fames that I've been associated with, just like the Rough Riders one, if you go back and look, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders of the CFL, they inducted like 9 people the first year. In the 80s. 9! And now they're sitting there putting in every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Sue because they were around long enough. Yeah, I'm going to move on. Got some good comments coming in. I appreciate that from everybody. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beers. Ask for them by name at your local beer, wine, and spirit store. They're one of the wonderful sponsors that's keeping us on the air. So please support our sponsors. The Toronto Blue Jays announced today that righty Jose Barrios will start opening day next week against the Tampa Bay Rays. This means Kevin Gausman, who was sidelined earlier this spring by a shoulder injury, will not get the ball to begin the season. Barrios has started 4 games this spring, allowing 5 runs, 2 earned over 13 innings of work with 13 hits, 2 walks, and 2 hit batsmen. All I'll say about that is, are you getting excited about Blue Jay season? Because I really am. And to be honest, they were in not only in contention all through last year, they got into the playoffs. It was a daily up and down with the fortunes of the Blue Jays, and I'm here for it. How about you?
I'm excited. And I've seen the comments already come in about Barrios and, the opening day, and hope he gets to pitch more than 4 innings or whatever it was in the playoffs last year. But, people are getting excited. The jerseys are unveiled and all the rest. I'm excited for it too. You asked back in spring training, are you excited? Are you ready for baseball? And I think we were both, no, not ready. But the 28th, I think, is opening day. And as we get closer to that, that's when I get excited. So, yeah, it's coming now.
Well, and by the way, we don't sit and spend 2 hours a day talking baseball. We lost Moose, but I'm very much following it, and I can hear him, but I can't see him, so I think he's around there, or maybe his phone went off. But Greg Zahn, the Blue Jays great, wrote me the other day, and there you go. Zahny wrote me about Joey Votto signing with the Jays, and he goes, he's instantly the most likable player on the Blue Jays. That was from Greg Zahn. And I wrote him back, and I said, well, I still think he's a boob for not playing for Canada at the World Baseball Classic. And Zahn wrote me back, LOL. And I didn't think much of it at the time. And then I saw Joey Votto pen like a handwritten 2-page explanation, his stance on playing for Canada at the World Baseball Classic. So it is a thing, but you know what? Again, I'm over it. I haven't thought about it. I'm all in on Joey Votto signing with the Blue Jays. We got to get over stuff, folks. Today's lesson, we need to get over stuff. Now, we got a couple minutes left here for point 4. We got a lot of time to get through today's program, so just sit tight. The Edmonton Elks announced Monday that Jason Shivers will be the team's assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, and linebackers coach this season. This takes the defensive coordinator job away from Chris Jones, who remains as the team's head coach and general manager. Jones, whose second stint with the Elks has seen him lead the team to an 8-28 record over the past 2 seasons in Edmonton, had often been criticized by fans and the media for wearing too many hats in the organization. Couple things here. I'm a CFL guy. Spent 20 years full-time in the league, started covering it in 1991. So if I want to talk about the CFL, I'm going to, because it's the Rod Pedersen Show. And here's something to mull over in the break, Darren. And by the way, we got NFL, World Women's Curling, and more hockey coming up after the break. But I'll say this, just to stir it up a little bit. This story is at rodpeterson.com right now, and people have been writing in saying Chris Jones has fooled his bosses for years. Yeah, he's got 4 Grey Cups, but none as a general manager. 1 as a head coach, 2 as a coordinator, I think, and 1 as an assistant, a position coach. But he's been a flop as a general manager. And I'm like, I got to think about that. Because I'm a Jones guy, and I like him. I like him a lot. I love working with him. He was one of my favorite coaches. And he called me a couple months ago when I had breaking news of Shivers, because he was hired as soon as the season was over. Jones was like, I'd like to think that yours and my relationship is one that you're not going to report this. I'm like, okay, I won't. The league is so hard to cover. So I didn't say anything about it. We've only known for 4 months. And they finally got around to announcing it on Monday. So my point is he a flop as a general manager, Edmonton, Chris Jones? Because he wouldn't like to hear that. Who would? But
yeah,
he's got to win. Hang on. We got a break. That was a rhetorical question. I said, think about it in the break. And we'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody, we are back. We back. Reward your love of movies and sign up for Landmark Extras today for free. Get more of what you love. Free movies and concession items, invitations to exclusive screenings, special events, and more. There's 3 programs to choose from, so pick the one that works the best for you. Every time you make a movie purchase, you get cred. How about that? Visit landmarkcinemas.com for details. Speaking of cred, let's bring the Moose in. Here's one for you, buddy. Moose, the Blue Jays are playing this afternoon. They got the Orioles there in Dunedin. I got guys sending me pictures from the Jays souvenir store. And my buddy is like, who is this guy? There's a guy in here. Everybody's making a big deal about him. He's taking pictures with everybody, getting autographs. I'm like, that's Kevin Barker, the broadcaster, one half of the Blair and Barker show. I don't believe he ever played for the Blue Jays. Am I right, Clark? His claim to fame is marrying Hazel May. Did he ever? He didn't play in the majors. Kevin Barker. But I don't think he ever played for the Blue Jays. But everybody's going goo goo gaga. Oh, he did? 12 games. That was quick. Clark looked it up. 12 games he played for the Jays, and they're just flocking to Kevin Barker right now. Breaking news as we speak in the Jays souvenir store in Dunedin. See, we're making miracles happen today, making people's lives better, Moose.
I know. And you know what? Like, he's obviously got a fan base down there, and why not? Those 12 games, though, probably pretty special games.
Somebody tell me if you're seeing Kevin Barker on television with the Blue Jays broadcast today. See what I say? We're all getting excited about the Jays, and they got a chance. That's all you can ask, is that they have a chance. I'm not the intrinsic Jays fanatic like Kevin, the medium, who was checked in today. Irrational fan. I'm not that. And I'm not an insider, but I follow it. And I certainly know who Kevin Barker is. I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. Now, having said that, I was in a restaurant in downtown Toronto with my color commentator, Carm Cartibri, one day, my football guy, and he was going all off about a guy that was sitting at the bar in the restaurant in Toronto. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. He's like, that's Craig Forrest. That's Craig Forrest. That's Craig Forrest. I'm like, who the hell's Craig Forrest? Soccer guy, I guess. Did you know that? From Sportsnet? Did you know that?
New to me.
Yeah, me too. I think his name was Craig Forrest. But I mean, if you're a soccer fan, you'd be going nuts over him. Anyways, moving on. Point 5. Rachel Homan's Canadian rink is facing Stefania Constantini's Italian foursome. In today's opening draw at the World Women's Curling Championship in Sydney, Nova Scotia, both teams are a perfect 4-0. And our sixth and final note before we swing it back to everything else we've been talking about today is from the National Football League, and the Dallas Cowboys are slightly reducing quarterback Dak Prescott's massive salary cap hit by reworking his contract going into the final year of the deal. A $5 million roster bonus has been converted into a signing bonus to reduce the 2024 cap hit by $4 million to about $55 million per year this year for Dak Prescott. The Cowboys have been famously quiet in free agency this year. Everybody's talking about the fact of that, but it's in part because of looming paydays for all-pro receiver CeeDee Lamb and star pass rusher Micah Parsons, the 2021 NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think we all can understand why. The only addition for Dallas from another team, anybody that they've lured away so far this winter, is linebacker Eric Kendricks on a one-year deal worth up to $3.5 million. Cowboys added Kendricks while releasing linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, their 2018 first-round pick, on a failed physical designation after another neck injury last year. So that's just one of the NFL notes that I wanted to throw out there. And now it's time to play. It's fun. All of these topics are up for discussion. When I talked about the Blue Jays we're excited. Our good friend Joe Madden, Darren, who was on the show here yesterday, Joe, I don't know why she's so popular, but she's extremely popular with sports fans. And she tweeted, "Who's your team?" And I just went through and clicked, as did Clark, I noticed, went and saw all the responses from everybody. It was pretty much every team in the majors. So Joe's fan base, she's got 25,000 Twitter followers, cheer for 30 baseball teams. It's not all Jays fans. I saw Reds. I saw Red Sox, a lot of Cubs. It's an interesting time. We don't all cheer for the Blue Jays. We all have our own teams. And to be honest, for people to spend part of their time of their day today excites me because they could be following a myriad of NFL shows, baseball shows, whatever today. It's an interesting time in sports.
It really is, and hats off to her. Built a great audience and getting the discussion going.
Yep.
Same thing we're doing here. But I think that's important. Sports fans want to go somewhere where they can be entertained, where they can, on our show, get their comments heard, which is kind of rare in this business, even with social media. And, everybody watches for different reasons. And it would be very boring if we all produced the same content and had the same TV shows and had, talked about the same things. It would be an awfully boring world if we all did the same thing.
That's why I said, promoting the today's show, I said, come let us entertain you, and I hope we're doing that. Jeff, the hotelier to the stars, has written in, and Jeff writes on the Sober Carpenter text line, "It's not Netflix, but I'm happy the NHL has a deal with Amazon to feature the league." And to be honest, I kind of sit here. It's a trait of an alcoholic or recovering alcoholic. Either way, a pity party. Woe is me. I sit there and think, oh, we're in such a competitive space in broadcast. But you look at Serena, she's in a competitive space with nutrition and online fitness coaching and what she does. There's a restaurant on every corner. Here in Florida, there's 2 gyms on every corner. Everybody's in a competitive environment, right? But Jeff has been talking, everybody, not just us, right? You got to be good. You got to be serving good pizza. I told you this a million times. But Jeff and I talk about once every 2 weeks, and he was saying that the NHL has come out with a streaming documentary. I don't know anything about this, and I'd like to think I follow the NHL pretty closely. Have you heard of this? Have you, Clark?
This is new
Either
for me.
one of you? Oh, Clark said it's new. It just came out the other day. Okay. That's the one thing. People can't get enough of this kind of stuff, like that 24/7 documentary on the Capitals, which reminds me, by the way, Tim Hunter coming up. Next segment was an assistant coach on the Capitals with Alex Ovechkin. So he might want to take a run at the poll question today, and that is, will Ovi catch Wayne Gretzky for the all-time goals record? But anyways, back on point. You kind of felt like you knew these guys after watching these documentaries. These are great things for the leagues, right?
They're amazing. They're outstanding for the leagues. A really, good example is that 24/7 documentary. Liv Schreiber was the narrator on it, the narrator of Hard Knocks on HBO in the NFL, in the training camp, and adds credibility. You get to see the personality of the players, which helps you become bigger fans. I remember vividly. I mean, the Leafs were on there. It was all leading up to the Winter Classic. The Capitals, the Penguins. That's what got me into being a real fan of what Pittsburgh was doing. Dan Bilesma was the coach at the time. I became a fan of how he conducted himself, and the NFL continues to kind of own that space. We all talked about the quarterback documentary. And did you see the new one announced? I think it was earlier today. The next season is going to be featuring the receivers. So it's not called quarterback next year. It's called receivers. So that should be fun.
It's going to be fantastic. And to be honest, Jeff, my friend, the hotelier, is the guy that alerted me to this. And I'll watch them because I watch them all. I pay attention to what everybody's doing in our business, and I watch what all the leagues are doing, but I settle in on NHL, NFL, CFL. That's my favorite. But Jordan S., viewer, writes in, he says, should I try to get into baseball this year? You do whatever you want, Jordan, but we will be. And if you're part of us, it wouldn't hurt for you to get into baseball a little bit this year. But now that I think about that old Capitals show, which it's been a lot of years, and for a variety of reasons, I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you why, but I know I was still drinking when it was out because we had a party at our house one time, and Derek Myers was there, and we were watching it together, the Duke. That's how I remember that we were having drinks, then we went to Habanos afterwards. So it's been a while, is my point. Been sober 9 years. Do you remember, and I don't know if you do, but some of our viewers may, Bruce Boudreau had to answer for himself because they showed a clip of a dressing room speech of his, and he dropped an F-bomb 27 times in a 15-second clip. And I remember distinctly at that time, because I was writing the blog, rodpedersen.com, going, I don't like this. The coaches and players and the bus drivers and the trainers and the broadcasters should all be allowed to be themselves. If you're going to come into their space with a camera, you better be prepared for what you have. And Boudreau not only got heat from those that didn't like it, but I do remember distinctly his mother getting on his ass for swearing too, because I remember an interview with him going, forget about the heat that I got, my mom was watching and she was mad. So do you not feel that if you're going to follow guys around with a camera, and girls, air what you get and be prepared for it? Don't complain if somebody's swearing too much.
100%. I really agree. And the thing when you go back and watch the film, maybe he is swearing too much, and that's something that maybe he wants to do a little differently, because it has a great effect when you do it right. Same with the blow-ups. But we don't know that, he's going around swearing like that 24/7, because it's not throughout the whole doc. That speech, I remember it vividly, had a ton of great impact. And him swearing actually got the point across pretty good, because maybe he's not swearing in every pregame speech. I'm cool with it. I say be yourself, and I love when you capture those real moments.
Funny you say, is he swearing too much? Is there such a thing? Which remind me for a second, but Ryan in New York writes in, he says, Liv Schreiber could narrate a documentary on how paint dries and I'd still watch. He's that good. John Ohm in Winnipeg. Ohm says, when are we going to know the name and release date of the documentary you are in, Rod, on the CFL? I don't know. That's not my department. Jordan S. says, which receivers will they be following? And by the way, Boudreau had to apologize to his mom for that clip. Yeah, I remember it. It was over 10 years ago now, and I remember it. Do you remember which receivers are going to be following? Do you know?
Yes, Justin Jefferson is on it. Deebo Samuel is one of the receivers. The other names are escaping me, but those are okay. Devontae Adams was definitely on there for sure. Yeah, so it's a good list of receivers across the league. There's about 6 or 7, I believe.
So before we break, Jen at the Four Seasons says, I, for one, swear a lot. Sailor Jen, I just can't help it sometimes. Utah Darren writes in and says, these types of content are cheap and easy to release and can give tremendous amounts of pub to a league. Are you listening, CFL? Ottawa's like the only team that did that. But as far as you saying, is there too much swearing? And Gabby having to apologize. I'm reading the comments, trying to keep my train of thought here. He had to apologize to his mom. I never, ever, 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 ever had to apologize for swearing to my mom because she heard the worst from my dad. And when we were doing cattle, as we say, or chasing cattle, or herding cattle, or cutting cattle, or doing all the things you do with cattle, I learned all these new swear words from my dad. And you heard me talk about it at his funeral. He broke a coho right between the eyes of a cat. Whack! Blade came right off. By the beep, 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 beep. You know, every time it was something new. There was nothing we could say that we would. And then you wonder why we said it. Okay, Moose, we'll see you in hour 2.
You bet.
Tim Hunter's coming up next. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Foreigner, live in Moose Jaw. Foreigner is back. The Farewell Canada Tour. You're as cold as ice. May 13th, the Moose Jaw Event Center. Foreigner, with special guest, Headpins. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca and the Moose Jaw Event Center box office. Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
At the Key Auto Group Pre-Owned Division, we're bringing back that new car feeling. No matter what, it's new to you and priced just right. No hidden fees, prices you can trust, an upfront buying experience. And it's all at keyautogroup.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hey, everybody. We're still awaiting Tim Hunter logging in, and that's unfortunate just because I couldn't wait to see him. I know that he will be with us because he wrote me on Instagram this morning saying, looking forward to catching up, Rod. Tim Hunter, a guy who actually coached over 1,000 games in the NHL, not to mention played like over 800. But that's okay that we don't have Tim Hunter yet, because what that does is allow us to go into the viewer comments, which I always actually enjoy, even though I do bitch about it. John Ohm says, looks like fans are not invited to the 2024 CFL National Combine in Winnipeg. Come on, CFL. That's not what I saw. I got an email from the Canadian Football League. I opened it up this morning. It was for the media, but it said the public's welcome to attend. Click here. So I don't know, John Ohm, if you're looking in the wrong place, but the one thing is the CFL and any league does get a lot of static and guff, and when they deserve it, let them have it. But if it's wrong, I don't like that, and I'll do everything that I can to fix it. So you go search around the CFL website, and I'm guessing you'll find that link where they want your name there if you're going to show up and watch, which I don't have a problem with, not in today's day and age. Utah Darren writes in regarding swearing. He says, most of us who grew up in the 70s learned many new words from our dad. Allie in Texarkana says, most of us grew up in the, it just slipped off the page. My bad. Allie says, Rod Brindamore swears, but that's just Rod. He doesn't mean anything by it. 902-518-3033, Sobert Carpenter text line. There are 13 games in the NHL tonight with 6 Canadian teams in action. The Western Conference leading Vancouver Canucks host the Buffalo Sabres. The Montreal Canadiens visit the Oilers. The surging Winnipeg Jets visit the New York Rangers. That's the game of the night. The Bruins host the Ottawa Senators, and the Toronto Maple Leafs visit the Philadelphia Flyers. Do not let me forget to play our breakaway bets segment later on today with Moose. He's got a very busy day. And to be honest, I'm quite proud of the pup. Darren is at the Game Plus studios in Toronto right now. Tonight, he's catching a plane from Toronto to Regina, as you look at it. Not a red eye, but a dang late flight. Getting up in the morning, driving to Moosomin Sask, the home of Dave Tippett. Get to broadcast the show there from the Canadian Firefighters Curling Championships from their curling facility tomorrow. That's where Darren will be tomorrow. And then MC their event Wednesday night. Then he's going to Palm Springs. Like, that's like an RP schedule from back in the day. And I just said, I don't want to do that stuff anymore, but you go ahead. And Moose is. And I respect the heck out of that. That's a lot of miles, all in the name of getting this show on the air from a place that wanted us there. Mooseum and Sask and Mike Schwain. A basketball team from New Jersey called Fairleigh Dickinson played its way out of the first four last year and then became one of the most improbable bracket busters in NCAA tournament history. After winning in Dayton, Ohio, the Knights upset Purdue, only the second time a number 16 seed beat a number 1 seed in March Madness history. 8 teams begin their NCAA tournament journey today and tomorrow, hoping to do some bracket busting. Wagner faces Howard tonight, followed by Colorado State against Virginia. Tomorrow, Grambling plays Montana State, and Colorado draws Boise State. I'm going to tell you right now, homie, don't play that game. No mas, I can't. No. What I will, like, I know who the favorites are. I have not got around to filling out my bracket yet, and I have to do it by Thursday because that's when the tournament starts for real. 68 teams, right? I got no clue. And I see that they're saying UConn, like Connecticut versus Houston, that's your final, and then filter it down from there. That's probably what I'll do. But the guys and gals that win this thing pick the Fairleigh Dickinsons or the Florida Gulf Coast or these schools we've never even heard of before that make these magical runs. FAU here in Boca Raton. Here's the thing that sports teams, I think deep down they know, but don't want to admit. You got to win to fill your barn. Take that to the bank. For instance, Florida Atlantic University, which plays 3.5 miles from our house right now as the crow flies, Florida Atlantic University went to the Final Four last year. The Owls, this year, sold out every game. But up until last year, all I heard around here was dumpy gym, nobody wants to go, it's cramped, it's hot, it's old. Now everybody's going. Alexander Barkov was at a recent game. I saw photos of it. 3 miles from our house. I wanted to go to a game, but I couldn't get a ticket. All because FAU went to the Final Four last year. You got to win, and you'll fill your barn. It ain't that hard. We've been saying it for, I've been in the business 36 years. What's the best marketing? WIN. Oh, but we were out in the community, and we did this. Nobody cares. Win. These sports updates are brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. And coming to Landmark Cinemas this Friday night, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. I swear every time I read this, I get the Ghostbusters theme bopping in my head. In the latest Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the Spangler family returns to where it all started, the iconic New York City firehouse, to team up with the original Ghostbusters, who've developed a top-secret research lab to take busting goats to the next level. Starring Paul Rudd, Annie Potts, and Dan Aykroyd. In theaters this Friday night, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. What we're going to do is take a break a little early, and when we come back, hope to have Tim Hunter with us. If we don't, it's an extended viewer takeover. So either way, you win. But we really flew through the quick 6 show topics. And when I say flew through them, we spent enough time appropriately on each one. But I'd like to get into more of the Ovechkin thing. And I'm assuming that Tim Hunter was at the game last night in the Saddledome because he goes to all the Flames games. Alex Ovechkin scored 2 last night. He's now 52 goals away from setting the all-time NHL goals record. And I said to Clark, we got to get that Jesse Pollock on from Bar Down because I like his take. Jesse Pollock, who lives in Winnipeg, and he's, I don't know, does he run Bar Down or he works for Bar Down at TSN? He said, it's happening, folks. It's going to go down next year. Whoa, 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 whoa. I know you think that, but let's examine this a little more because I'm saying no, it ain't. He's not even on pace for 25 goals this year. And he's got to get 52 more, and he's 38. I'm saying it's not happening. I'm voting no. Tim Hunter coached him, so he would know more than any of us, so we hope to chat with him before the day is over. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Hey, everybody. Well, lucky you. I guess it's viewer takeover, and something must have come up with Tim Hunter. I'm telling you, he just wrote me this morning and said, looking forward to catching up. So I don't know if we're going to squeeze him in next hour, but I want to get into the breakaway bets with Moose next hour regarding the swearing and how it came up. Was our guy Jeff, the hotelier, wrote in and said, hey, it's not on Netflix, but it's on Amazon. The NHL has a new streaming documentary coming out. And I missed it. I don't know what it is or what even the name of it is. But we talked about the last one that any of us can remember. And it doesn't seem like over 10 years ago, but it was over 10 years ago, that NHL 24/7 series, which primarily, I think, featured the Washington Capitals and Pittsburgh Penguins. And Bruce Boudreau dropped 47 F-bombs and a 30-second clip in the dressing room and then had to apologize to his mom. And I said, I have no problem with the cameras being around the teams, on the bench, in the dressing room, on the planes or in the buses. But don't make the guys not be themselves. If Gabby wants to swear, let him swear. Fake Gainer writes us on Twitter, and his pseudonym, alter ego, Vintage Sasko, writes me on Twitter and says, swearing is deplorable and cussing should be outlawed. He says that firmly, tongue in gopher cheek.
How about that?
Because he swears more than anybody. Swears more than anybody. And that's why I'm telling you to write in. We got 4.5 minutes here in this segment because you can steer the discussion. I view this show like a virtual coffee shop or the set of The View with Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Elizabeth Hasselbeck. I don't even know if the rest of them are even still on there anymore because it's on the same time as us here on Game Plus. But that's what I think. That's the morning conversation. And for Jeff to bring that up, I could see a guy coming into the coffee shop, sitting down and going, hey, guys, did you hear about the new streaming show on the NHL? Spawns a great conversation. Now's your chance to write in. 902-518-3033, and steer the discussion. Regarding March Madness, there's going to be enough people talking about that and pretending to be experts. We don't need to be. But Jen at the Four Seasons writes in and she says, the only 2 times I watch basketball is March Madness and NBA playoff finals. Or sorry, she says final 4 teams. Allie says, this is so much better than The View. Well, that's the thing, is anytime I watch The View, I didn't really like it, but it's that concept. I don't really care for the wokeness, which, by the way, talking about earlier, the swearing and everything, and I said I never got in trouble for any swearing that I did from my mom because I learned it from my dad. And what's she going to yell at me for? She's going to yell at him. And so furthermore, and I said us doing cattle work or work with horses is where I learned all those swears. And in my weekend column, I wrote about this TV show we discovered, Louisiana Law, where it's the Wildlife Federation fish cops. Okay? They're on their boats and their 4x4s and their guns and their tasers, and they take off into the swamp and they arrest bad guys. It's amazing. It's like Cops meets Duck Dynasty. But there's also a show called Lone Star Law. I'm getting to a point. I'm like, well, this is going to be great. This is about Texas. Same idea as Louisiana Law, but it's Lone Star Law. I click on that. Very first show I see, they're roping a bull that got out of the corral and is wandering down the highway, right? And then the next show, it's a wounded young horse, a foal in the ditch that they're scooping up. I'm like, this is milestone law. This is Saskatchewan law. This is how I grew up. This isn't entertaining. That's why I'm not living there anymore. No, too much work. The Louisiana law to me far more entertaining, but maybe you would like the Lone Star Law. The cowboy life, been there, done that. Didn't write the book on it, but did read the book on it. Yeah, Allie's liking that conversation. And to be honest, I do want to, we breezed by this real fast, but I do want your take on the Edmonton Elks hiring their coaches up there. Chris Jones, can we say stepping down as defensive coordinator and all those titles that he held? And where does he rank in terms of being a good general manager in CFL history? I think it's up for some debate. Allie says they aren't in the right part of Texas. Oh, they're in the part that I recognize. Let's put it, the part that looks like Swift Current. We'll be back with Hour 2 and Shane Hnidy right after this on Game Plus and Key Radio.
At the Key Auto Group Pre-Owned Division, we're bringing back that new car feeling. No matter what, it's new to you and priced just right. No hidden fees, prices you can trust, an upfront buying experience. And it's all at keyautogroup.ca.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Now,
here's a little secret with what I do at the Rod Pedersen Show, and I've made a career of it. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me, but when you watch my show, I just want you to feel something.
How about that?
Whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're proud, I just want you to feel something. Because a lot of times you'll read a column or watch a show and it's, That's never been the hallmark of what I do. I want to make you think, I want to make you feel something, and it's worked. And if you don't agree with me, I'll be fine.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show. I know it's going to be great. Get on up. Settle on in for the most entertaining hour upcoming of Sports Talk. We always do this daily, Monday to Friday. Hour 1, we talk about what happened last night. Hour 2, we preview tonight. I'm here in the beautiful South Florida studio. Moose is in the Toronto Game Plus studio for now. I told everybody what your travel plans were, Moose, so we can get that out of the way. Just safe travel for when you leave tonight. A couple things. We got great questions and comments have come in here from the viewers, and I'll get to those in a second. I do want to say one thing. For tonight's NHL games, everybody agrees the game of the night is the Winnipeg Jets at the New York Rangers. Nobody has any idea how it's going to go. And maybe it's a Stanley Cup final preview, but it's got that kind of vibe. Two of the top teams in the NHL going to meet at MSG tonight. The Leafs are at the Flyers, and that's a big one. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are at Vegas. And I just want to say something here before I get around to the Leafs, for all the Leafs Nation watching right now here on Game Plus TV. Darren, I had somebody come at me last night from Malmö, Sweden, of all places, about the Vegas Golden Knights being cheaters, because we addressed this on our Cats and Bolts podcast, the one that Serena and I do every week, and Bill Lindsay joined us last week, and everybody still can't get over Vegas and the salary cap and the loophole around the long-term injured reserve because their captain, Mark Stone, is now on long-term injured reserve and his salary doesn't count to the cap. That allowed them to bring in Thomas Hertl from San Jose just before the trade deadline and maybe Noah Hannafin too. And it's like some guy wrote at me and said, if you circumvent the salary cap, it's cheating. And my thing was, it's been 2 weeks. I don't want to fight. They're not even my team. And B, you're never going to see it the way then that I see it. If they're not being disciplined by the NHL, and Tampa Bay wasn't when they won a Stanley Cup based on this, they're not cheating. But the point of the whole matter is we're going to have to agree to disagree and walk away because I'm not going to sit here and yell at you in your face with anybody that doesn't agree with my point. Whether I'm right or not, doesn't matter. I don't want to fight. But people aren't letting this go.
I know. And it's tough because I guess technically you're not circumventing the salary cap. You are utilizing some opportunity for cap relief and using that to the best of your ability. And the thing about Vegas is they've taken advantage of this long-term injured reserve when they've ran into problems. They would love to have Mark Stone playing right now, but he's always had a history of getting hurt. So this allows them to still have a competitive team on the ice. And yes, if he comes back, they're going to benefit from it. And they've done that last year as well. But other teams are benefiting more from it. You know, they said Toronto's got more money in long-term injured reserve and more total salary than Vegas does. But nobody's talking about the Leafs because they're not winning. You're only talking about Vegas when they win.
Yeah, but I guess that's the whole point is some people enjoy arguing. It makes them feel good. I've never been that guy. And now in my 51 years, I'm just going to walk away. I'm not going to stand there. No. John Schmeiser check-ins in says, good morning from Kansas City. We're a little all over the road today, but that's okay. That's kind of what we want. What do you call it? The 3 A's. ADD, annoying, and arrogant. That's us.
Triple A, baby.
Darren writes in. Right, Triple A. Utah Darren writes in and he says, loopholes create an opportunity to correct mistakes in the rules. Yes, but the NHL talked about this a couple of years ago at their summer meetings, the GMs, and elected not to do anything about it. So again, Vegas isn't breaking any rules. This is where we're going to jump around all over the place, and that's fine. Questions are coming in for Shane Hnidy. I hope to remember them when he does join us later. We were supposed to have Tim Hunter in hour 1, and he wrote me this morning saying he couldn't wait to get on the show. So I think we got beset by time change. I'm not sure, but whatever. We'll get him maybe by the end of the week. Okay, Leafs. People are writing in about the Leafs. You said they're not winning, but they're in a playoff spot. And unless I've completely missed something, there's a distinct lack of drama around the Leafs, and I think that's a good thing. Have I read it right?
You've read it right. You know, I say not winning because, I mean playoffs and winning a cup. So nobody cares if they're over the salary cap because, they're not winning Stanley Cups. But when you're right. And when you look at, the records in the National Hockey League since the beginning of the year, the calendar year, January 1st, the Oilers are near the top. The Leafs are in the top 5. The Canucks are in the top 5. The Jets are very well. These are the best teams in the National Hockey League over the last, 2.5 months. And you're right. There's not a lot of drama around the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I think that's a good thing. And it's a good thing for Canadians in general that all those Canadian teams that are poised to go to the playoffs are all playing well among the best in the league.
We'll get to the Bet Regal bets next segment. I'm just going to throw another ball in the air here and tell everybody, last hour, my guy Jeff, the hotelier from Estevan, wrote in about the new NHL streaming documentary that came out. It spawned a discussion over what are our favorites. And I think it was John in Winnipeg wrote in. I can't remember, but he said Last Dance was the best ever. And they're throwing out all these new streaming series. I'm like, yay-o, guy. It's not COVID. I'm not sitting here watching streaming 20 hours out of the day, not to mention it's 31 degrees. So we'll get to the you know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking for streaming suggestions right now. We got all we can handle. Good morning, Bill Edwards in Regina. He says, morning, crew. He, the guy that gave me the Ron and Don bobblehead. And again, I'm just so happy those two got together for Don's 90th birthday. Ron McLean will be on here next Wednesday, by the way. And Jen at the Four Seasons says, Vegas is doing what the Lightning have been doing for years. It's shady, but not breaking any rules. I don't like it. Well, welcome to Kelly McCrimmon 101. We've addressed that 19 times. I'm over it. JB in Winnipeg writes in and says, I like what the Steelers did. Finally, we're getting around to, and I do want to talk a little CFL in a moment, but he says he likes what the Steelers did. He's obviously a Pittsburgh fan here in free agency. The dust has settled on free agency. The Athletic has come out with their power rankings post-free agency. I haven't read them yet because you understand it's just another fast food restaurant driving by. They're going to give their power rankings. It's just like this fast food on every corner. Everybody's got a power rankings. Everybody's got this. But yesterday, Joe Madden gave them a thumbs down. Joe gave the Pittsburgh Steelers a thumbs down. And I kind of sit here and wonder, what's the parameters or the rules on whether you win or lose free agency? You can't declare a winner now. Trade deadline, you can, especially in the NHL. Who goes on to win the Stanley Cup? I'd say that team won the trade deadline. Free agency, you can't declare a winner now, but you have to because it's America. And then the draft, you don't declare a winner for 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line because you said this morning you were watching Get Up. Did you see the discussion about, it was ESPN radio, not the television. There was in the 2021 draft class, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. Was that Sam Darnold's year? A lot of them have flopped. Jury's out on Trevor Lawrence. They're saying this was not all that of a draft year. So back on point on the free agency, do you agree with Joe Madden that the Steelers, she says they flopped. This guy's a fan, says he likes what they did. What do you think?
Well, on the outset, I like what they did because I think there's a lot of real good there. I think on the one hand, you look at, they've upgraded that quarterback room. Russell Wilson was a great quarterback, still pretty competent. I think he can be competent in a decent system. Justin Fields has shown flashes. But then, Joe Madden put some real perspective in place. When you think about it, if you're a team that's trying to compete for a Super Bowl, which the Steelers are, they made the playoffs last year with subpar quarterback play, controversy around their offensive coordinator, and other issues. So if you're trying to win a Super Bowl with a great defense, a great head coach, and some weapons, do you want Russell Wilson to lead you to the Super Bowl? Probably not. Would you go hard after Justin Fields to be the guy that you put all your eggs in that basket to lead you to a Super Bowl? Probably not. But together, that quarterback room is better than what they had last year. But overall, can it compete with what Cincinnati has or Kansas City or Buffalo in a really competitive AFC? Probably not.
Smiling because people have answered the bell. And we've got some great comments come in on the Sober Carpenter text line, 902-518-3033. It's 1:11 Eastern. If you're into that, if you observe, 1:11 Eastern.
Beautiful.
We're all over the place. All those other places are fast food restaurants. We're a buffet. America's finest buffet is taken as a slogan. Could we call ourselves Canada's finest buffet? Or is that KFC? You're still not.
No.
No. Darren got food poisoning at a KFC buffet. We don't talk about it. So my point is I've thrown a bunch of items out here, and everybody else can talk about them. Last hour, you weren't on with me, but I was talking about the TV series on Animal Planet called Louisiana Law, where the wilderness cops go out with their guns on boats and trucks and arrest the bad guys. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Gators, shrimp, crabs, booze, It's amazing. I love it. And I was saying, but there's another one called Lone Star Law, filmed in Texas. I'm like, well, let's give this a shot. And I'm like, they're roping a bull. They're rescuing a stranded baby horse, a foal. I'm like, this is milestone law. I grew up with this. This isn't entertaining. And I said, it looks like Swift Current. And have you ever been to Texas, which you have? Mind you, was it light at all when you were in Dallas? You were there on a layover. Did the sun shine at any point? Or was it dark the whole time?
Well, you know what? It was pretty dark the whole time. But we were in Houston, and that counts. So I get an idea of the daytime terrain and what the area looks like. We went down to Katy, Texas.
Sorry, I meant, right, Corey, I'm sorry. I was with you in Houston, but Houston's far prettier than Dallas. Sorry, Dallas. But Laverne, I said it looks like Swift Current. Laverne is watching on Game Plus television in Swift Current and says, looks like Swift Current. You mean bald-ass prairie? No. Around Dallas, it has these rolling little hills. Nowhere near mountains, nowhere near. But it looks like Maple Creek, Cypress Hills, Swift Current. That's why I say that. And a lot of times it's brown. I'll never forget, you know Will Blackman, the NFL Network analyst, former NFL DB? Riders signed him. He stepped off the plane. I'll never forget. We're like, what do you think? We got a microphone in his face. He won a Super Bowl, I think, with Green Bay. He goes, smells like Texas. We're all like, manure. Everybody got mad. And I'm like, no, he's right. It does. It's the smell of money. Regarding the poll question, will Alex Ovechkin catch Wayne Gretzky and his career goals record in the National Hockey League, 894? The poll question is brought to you by our friends at Key Yorkton Kia. Unleash the future. Kia EV6 GT at Key Yorkton Kia, where performance and innovation go hand in hand. Go to KeyYorktonKia.com or call 306-783-2772 for more information. The 23 Kia EV6 GT, movement that inspires. Now we're talking. We are literally all over the place, and I like that. That's what I want. It's that the view for sports fans, all these topics on the table, a little something for everybody. And Greg says, in Calgary, says, I think Ovi breaks the record. It won't be next year, but it'll be the year after. It's a great point, but by that point, he's going to be in his 40s. And I don't care what you say. I know he sniped twice last night, and the Capitals won at Calgary, and they're now in a playoff spot. But it was just his 20th. He's not scoring 50-plus. It's not the same Ovi. And will the Capitals keep him around just to break a record? I don't think so. Nobody. It's the National Hockey League. The Never Hungry League. I'm hearing Ovi's not in the best shape either. They're not going to keep him around if he's not necessarily contributing. Last night he did, but not every night does he. Paul in Humboldt writes in, he says, the NHL GM Award should be called the Loophole Award. Sure. Colin in Ottawa says, your friend Chris Jones can definitely scout American defensive players, but he doesn't have a clue how to scout Canadians. He probably thinks U Sports is some sort of video game. That's coming from a Red Blacks fan who's clearly not a Jones fan, but I can't disagree either. And you can talk about Canadians. I don't think he's never been able to really find a quarterback, period. And you kind of need one to win. When we come back, more fun and NHL breakaway bets. We'll pick tonight's games, winners, or try. And Shane Hnidy of the Vegas Golden Knights on the way, too, on a game day for them. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
All right, RP Show continues, and before we bring the Moose back in, we'll get to tonight's games. Reward your love for movies. I think I'm going to go to a movie today. Sign up for Landmark Extras for free today at landmarkcinemas.com. Get more of what you love. Free movies and concession items, invitations to exclusive screenings, special events, and more. 3 programs to choose from, so you can fit the one to fit your lifestyle perfectly. Again, go to landmarkcinemas.com for details. Moose is with us. He is at the Game Plus TV studios. Tomorrow, he is going to be in Moosomin, Sask at the Canadian Firefighters Curling Championship. And the viewers, including David in Winnipeg, want to know if you will be making a stop at the Red Barn in Moosomin, if that is on your plan at all. Have you been there? Are you familiar with the Red Barn in Moosomin?
I'm familiar. I don't actually think I've ever been there unless I was as a kid, but I don't think I've been to the Red Barn. So you know what? I've got an afternoon open in Moosomin. Maybe I'll check it out.
God bless you for doing that. We used to stop there when I was the voice of the Regina Pats Hockey Club, the world's oldest junior hockey team. We would stop at the Big Red Barn in Moosomin every road trip on the way to Brandon. And our assistant general manager would make some very inappropriate comments to our server. She was a very beautiful, mature lady. And we couldn't wait for the hour and a half riding up. What are you going to say? What are you going to say this time? These days, they throw them in the clinker. But this was the 90s when anything went. And it was some of the best spaghetti I've ever had, which is saying something because it's hard to screw up, but Big Red Barn really is very good with the pasta. And then we'd go to Brandon and get our ass kicked and come home.
How about that?
I think there's a new Big Red Barn. They changed it, didn't they? They built a new one? That's the last I heard. So I've been everywhere, man. And this is where I like the best. Okay, NHL games tonight. 13 games, Darren. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
I'm sure you put a lot of thought into this. Okay. This is straight up. For those that don't know, we do this every single day that we're on the air. Straight up NHL winners on a nightly basis. There are 13 games. Ottawa at Boston tonight. Who you got?
Give me Boston.
Clearly. Winnipeg at the New York Rangers in the game of the night. Who you liking?
Oh, right out of the gate, I thought you'd save it. I'm going to go with Winnipeg.
Nope. Okay. How about that? I'm going with the New York Rangers. Trying to say it like Kenny Albert says it. Pittsburgh at the New Jersey Devils. Who do you like?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah? I'll take the Devils. That works out well. The Columbus Blue Jackets at the Detroit Red Wings.
I'll take Detroit.
Yeah? I will too. Man, they really got to get it together. They have slipped out of a playoff spot. The Toronto Maple Leafs at the Philadelphia Flyers.
I think the Leafs will win tonight. I do.
Didn't they just play at Philly and win like last week?
Yeah.
Bingo!
Yeah.
Okay. And they're back. Okay. He's taken the Leafs. For whatever reason, I'll take Torts. I got to make sure I write these down properly. Obviously. It's become a big thing. People actually care whether you and I are right or wrong. This is what we call sport betting, everybody. There's a thing called sport fishing down here in Florida where you fish, catch a fish, throw it back. Sport fishing. This is sport betting. You pick the winners and put nothing on it, on the line. It's great. Try it with your kids. Carolina at the New York Islanders. I'll go first and take Carolina.
Okay, I'll take the Islanders. You say who needs it more? I think the Islanders need a big win tonight.
Oh, they definitely do, but they're sucking. Colorado at St. Louis. The Avs have won 6 in a row. Who do you like?
I like Colorado. They're playing really well.
I'll take them too. I think the Blues are on a run too. A heater. Like 4
Yeah.
games. San Jose at Nashville. What you thinking?
It's got to be Nashville. They are also playing pretty well as of late.
He says it with authority. It's got to be Nashville. I agree. Montreal at Edmonton. Can I go first? Oilers.
Yeah. Got to take the Oilers in this one.
Buffalo at Vancouver.
I like Buffalo to upset the Canucks tonight. I'll take Buffalo.
How about that? I'm taking Vancouver. They're coming off that loss to the Capitals, and homie, don't play that game. They're going to want to atone against the Sabres tonight. Minnesota at Anaheim. What do you got?
I'll take Minnesota in this one.
Okay, I'll take the Ducks. That works out well. Oh, this is going to be spicy. Adding them up tomorrow. Count them up. 1,
Spicy.
2. Tampa Bay at Vegas. What are you thinking? I'll go first. I'm taking Vegas. I'm taking Vegas.
Okay, I'll take Tampa if you got Vegas. I'll take Tampa tonight to spoil the party.
Again, sport betting is what we do for our official betting partner here. And Chicago and Connor Bedard at the Los Angeles Kings. Who are you liking?
I got to take LA and the Kings to win tonight.
Yeah, me too. All right, count them up, everybody. Sport betting. Play along with us at your local NHL.com. Here's one thing that I want to mention, and I won't belabor you too long. Shane Hnidy is logged in from Vegas. We'll get to him shortly on a game day. But I've had to completely change the way I think, and I'm not there yet. But the point being, like with events and everything, I was shocked that the Curling Canada wanted us to come into the Brier. And I'm like, I don't follow curling all year. They're like, we don't care. Just come in for events. And that's kind of what we want to do, right? Like Super Bowl, we broadcast from there. You were at the Grey Cup. Now, we follow those leagues all year, but there's March Madness. I don't follow it all year. What the hell do I know about filling out a bracket? But we're expected to just get on board certain times of the year, right? And it's like, is that allowed? My point is, with the Predators, this is Barry Trotz's first year. I'm thinking about all these things in the summer because nobody ever looks back, but I do. And in Estero, Florida, in September, there was that rookie tournament. Remember? New Jersey,
yes,
Carolina, Florida, Tampa, Nashville. And Barry Trotz was there. I bumped into him quite a bit in the press box. And he's a former Pats captain. So I know him. And his scouts were telling me what a change in the way they do things is under Barry Trotz. Now, they all love David Poile, the former GM. They're there because of David Poile. But they said Trotz does things differently. There's more energy. So I'm kind of sitting there watching that in September going, I love to see the embryo grow all year long. There's a lot of fun with that, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily have to do that. But it's very rewarding to watch a team start way back in training camp and a preseason tournament and then come to where Nashville is. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs, by the way, and they're one of the hottest teams in the NHL. That's one thing. And then two, with Winnipeg. Rick Bowness has gone back to Winnipeg for a minor medical procedure, from what I understand. It's been a tough year for Rick. I appreciate the viewers are writing in saying, is he okay? Sounds like he is fine. If it was major, he probably never would have left Winnipeg anyways. But I do remember the people that didn't want to hire Rick Bowness because Barry Trotz was available. Remember that? And because Barry Trotz turned it down, they're like, oh, great. We're getting sloppy seconds here in Rick Bowness. Well, that seems to have turned out fine, too. But nobody wants to remember that. So I guess, do you know what I'm saying? Just to sit back and track the history. Am I the only guy that does that? Do you look back at these things? I feel like I'm the only guy that does that.
Well, it's rare that people do that and actually take the full, view, pull out to 30,000 feet and see the whole story. But it's rewarding when you do. When you watch the movie start to finish without looking at your phone, or you stick through something from start to finish. You don't bail on your team when they go down early in a football game. You stick with them and then they come back. Those are all things that are really rewarding. Same thing with a hockey team. When you watch a tournament, beginning of the year, preseason rookie tournament, and you think this team's not going anywhere, you stick with them, you watch them grow, and then they make the playoffs and maybe win a little bit. It's extremely rewarding. And the Jets thing's a little different, but it is interesting because you're right. Winnipeg fans were really disappointed. We all thought Barry Trotz was signing there. Rick Bowness has really worked out big time in Winnipeg, and Barry Trotz is working out in Nashville.
And that's the thing is I don't think at 51, I can't change. I'm always going to want to see it from the start to the end. I can't change. And I'm happy that we have events like the Briar and these events that bring us into broadcast from. But I'm like, you can't expect me to follow it all year. I don't have room in the brain. Like, for instance, the career of one Shane Hnidy. This is hilarious. I've only known him since he was 17. And when he was 17, I was 20. And he said to me, I was the voice of the team. He was 17. Years later, I saw him in the press box in the Bell Center in Montreal. And he goes, Rod, when we were in PA, I thought you were ancient. Well, I was. He was 17. I was 20. That's a huge gap. But I remember at that time, like at that age, that's a huge gap in age. Now he's crowding 50 as the color voice of the Vegas Golden Knights. And now he's on, what else you on? Not TNT, I think I saw him on the weekend. And this guy's got no business being in the National Hockey League. I called his games. Only you played 550, and I say this facetiously, 550 games and won a Stanley Cup. It was there because of hard work learned in Neepawa, Manitoba. Okay, Clark's got something to say in my ear. What do you got? Well, no, we're going to do Tim tomorrow or another day. Nides next. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
As you know, when we talk hockey, it's brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company in Calgary, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. Okay, let's go to Vegas now, and I appreciate you, Hnidy, for hanging on through this on a game day. Lightning at the Golden Knights, and I didn't wear this to get you mad. I honestly didn't, but it's going to be a doozy tonight. Hey, Hnidy, what has you excited about this one?
Well, just the way the Golden Knights played in their last game. They've won 3 of their last 4. But I think, it's the way they played. Bruce Cassidy kind of said, covering that game beforehand, Chance to talk, he said, we need to win a game 2-1, 3-1. We need to get back to that defensive structure that really has brought the success to this organization last year through the run. That's kind of their identity, the way they can defend, the way they can shut teams down. And they'd gotten away from that, whether it was timely saves, whether it was lost coverage. There was just holes in their game, and it all came together. And I think the fashion in which they beat the Devils kind of set them, on the right path. Now it's a matter here of putting together a string of games. They've won 3 of 4, but they haven't won. It's kind of been one step forward, one step back for the last 6 weeks. So I'm interested to see, and it's going to be a tougher challenge than the Devils with Tampa winning their last 3.
Well, Hnidy, you're wily. You've been around. You know the lingo. This is what I saw when I looked up the Golden Knights. They've only won 4 of their last 10 games. So, yeah, you got a hot here, but it hasn't been the greatest 2024, right? Like, what's ailed this team?
Well, I'm not going to say injuries because it's kind of, last 3 years. They missed playoffs, couldn't deal with it. Last year, they dealt with it, and then they were hot, incredible after the break. You see the same thing. They came out of that All-Star break. They beat Edmonton at home. And all of a sudden, their game did not come. And they have gotten some people back. Theodore's come back. Eichel. I think Eichel's finding his stride now. You're really seeing, you need a few games under. Will Carrier's back. Brett Howden's back. I think the new additions in Hanifin and Mantha are still, figuring their way. So maybe, if I'm the half glass full guy, I'm saying it's just taken a little bit for them to gel and mold together. But when I look at the reality of it, they just haven't been good enough. There hasn't been enough urgency, which has been a word used by Cassidy, and you hear it from a lot of coaches. The urgency hasn't been in their game. And this is a team that's been successful. There's standards, but, you got to rely on that veteran, that leadership on a group that pretty much the majority of the group that did it is here. But it's not just, flipping the switch sometimes. It's building your game and maybe going through that grind of losing some hard games. And, they lost their game, but they've started to find it back here now. So you're hoping that they've turned the corner if you're a Golden Knights fan and that they found their way. Like I said, I think to me, the way in which they played overall against the New Jersey Devils, to me, is a sign that their best overall game in a while. This looked like what we'd expect from the Golden Knights. So there's a lot of things that were going wrong. So now I think it's time to pull up the big boy pants and go to work. It's each and every night, every game. These points, you hear it, points at a premium. They are now there. They put themselves in position. Now it's on them to get themselves out of it.
Yeah, well, you're in the home stretch, and I'm with you. Like, now is the time I'm really paying attention. But you got guys that know what they're doing, and Bruce Cassidy and Kelly McCrimmon, so they are going to be fine. But I got to ask you this. I'm tired of hearing about the Golden Knights cheating with the salary cap. I am tired of it, and I don't have a dog in the hunt. How do you feel about it, man? It's like, get over it.
I love it. It's within the rules. What? So, and I think, sometimes a form of flattery is jealousy, and that's what other fans are. It's not, what? If it happens to your team, if you're a fan of a team, and I'll be honest, I've never been a fan. For whatever reason, I played the sport. I'm ultra competitive playing. Now I just love the sport, the team. Obviously, working for the Golden Knights, I want to see them successful. But that said, if I'm a fan of any team, I want them to utilize every option possible to put the most competitive team on the ice and give them the best chance of winning each and every year. Kelly McCrimmon and George McPhee have done that year after year. Anybody could have went and tried to get Alex Pietrangelo, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone. These are all trades they made. Tomas Hertl, who knew he was available? That's to the brilliance of the Golden Knights. And I'll tell you, one guy who did not want to be hurt is Mark Stone. Knowing him, competitive, he wants to be out there each and every night. And if he was, there would be no Tomas Hertl, but he got injured. Yes, it's happened 2 years in a row. The back injury he tried to fight through. He could have missed a lot more time, got the surgery. This time was just a freak incident. Him and Trenton colliding just in the neutral zone. And this is, you have no timeline on something like this. He's out for a long time. Well, you got the cap space, so you've got management, and then you've got an owner that backs it, that's willing to spend it. I think it's terrific. I really do. If you're a fan of a team, and this is what you're going to get from your ownership, from your management, and it's all within the rules. There is, I'm not even going to use the other word because it's not happening. This is within the rules. This is a competitive that makes their team better. And if you don't like it, it's too bad. That's, and they're not the only team that uses LTIR. A lot of teams use it. And it's just for them. They've been able to use it to the max. And they've pulled off some amazing trades. They've given up a lot. You have to pay for them. But it has made them competitive every year.
Of course. And we saw it firsthand in the dub with Kelly McCrimmon. And by the way, I think 98% of it is jealousy. I really do. And I'll say this about you, Knights. Pretty soon, you're going to be a broadcaster longer than you were a hockey player. You might have actually hit the tipping point of that in your career. Have you? You must be close.
I've hit it longer in the NHL. I played 11 in the NHL. This is 12 or 13, but I played 15 years pro. So I'm getting close. We had our junior days in there, Rod. It was 20 years. If I add I was one of those blessed under and over. I loved the dub so much. I was there 5 years.
How about that?
Well, that's why I'm rooting for you so much, because I know how hard you work, and I know how good you are at it, and that's also a tipping point, man. So that's the thing. Any haters you have or I have, it's jealousy there too, man. And I get it. And I really was happy to tune in and see on TNT the other day. You just keep killing it. I teased the hell out of you, but it wouldn't be the same if we didn't. And by the way, I just got to ask you about Super Bowl. I come to Vegas. You're not there. But you couldn't be because they took over your facility. But did you have any Super Bowl rub before you left? Or I know you played the Oilers on the Tuesday night, so.
Yeah, no, you know what? I
did you
went
experience
to a friend's house for Super. I experienced my good buddy, from down in your area, Sean Thornton, was in town. So him and I went to the Live on Friday. I think that was the only time I went down to the Strip. When there's a big event, and I consider myself a local now, try to avoid the chaos that's going on. But I went to the Live with Thordy. We walked around for a bit. Then we did a couple casinos. He's meet and greet and all this, all the companies, which is his job. So it was great. And then, then I didn't go back down. Oh, sorry. I went to a Luke Combs concert down on the Strip Saturday. He did a private event that I was fortunate enough to know someone who had tickets. And then Sunday was just went to a friend's place, and they had a beautiful home and a beautiful Super Bowl party. It was massive. It was great. And I won money.
All right, good.
I won.
We had to work overtime to stay up and watch it for sure, but it was a fantastic week in Vegas for sure. Okay, Knights, you're the busiest guy in show business. Thanks for hanging in with you, and have a good call tonight.
It's always great to chat, Rod. Love coming on anytime.
All right. See you soon, man. Shane Hnidy of, the Vegas Golden Knights television call, but also the NHL on TNT, the pride of Neepawa, Manitoba. And we were together with the PA Raiders back in the 90s. So we saw the way McCrimmon worked firsthand from the other side. I wrote down the quotes. I love it. It's within the rules. If you don't like it, too bad. Hello. When we come back, overtime, sports update, all you in viewer takeover right after this on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Foreigner, live in Moose Jaw. Foreigner is back. The Farewell Canada Tour. You're as cold as ice. May 13th, the Moose Jaw Event Center. Foreigner, with special guest, Headpins. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca and the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics, graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
At the Key Auto Group Pre-Owned Division, we're bringing back that new car feeling. No matter what, it's new to you and priced just right. No hidden fees, prices you can trust, an upfront buying experience. And it's all at keyautogroup.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, we got a lot of time here for overtime. That means a lot of time for you and me. So get your comments in 902-518-3033. Sober Carpenter text line, Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beers. Ask for them by name at your local beer, wine, and spirit store. And Overtime's brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where this Friday, now's the time, is the Overtime Player Development Day. It's for hockey players aged 7 to 12. And it's where kids can be kids. You'll get your own lane time, stick handling, passing drills, games, friendly competition, snacks, and lunch. It runs 9 to 3. The cost is $99 for the whole day. You can show up late and leave early if you have to, and there is before and after care available as well. Go to overtimehl.ca. That's the website, overtimehl.ca, for more information, or you can email them, info@overtimehl.ca. While you're there, ask about their summer camps as well. They really got it rolling. They're winners all the way, as John Lynch would say, at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. We're so proud to be partnered up with them. This ain't so great. As we look at the sports and sports update on this Tuesday, and we're kind of all over the place with it, but so is the sports world. Former Belarusian hockey player Konstantin Koltsov, who was coaching in the KHL, died in Florida. Police say he was 42 years of age. Miami-Dade police detective Argemis Colomb confirmed Koltsov's death in a statement sent to the Associated Press. Police said the death was an apparent suicide. No foul play was suspected. Koltsov served as an assistant coach for Salavat Yuliyev Ufa the past 2 seasons, and he was also an assistant on staff for the Belarusian men's national team. National team coach Dmitry Baskov called Koltsov's death an irreparable loss. And I'm just going to stop here for a second and say this. It just popped into my head. I was talking to a guy on the phone this morning by the name of Reg Howard. Some of you might know them. And he was on the way to a funeral in Saskatchewan for a 38-year-old gal who took her life. Enough. If you're struggling, reach out and ask for help. Reach out to me if you want. But this stuff's got to end. If you're struggling, say something. And if the first person or the second person don't help you, keep asking. Because I know that's been a thing. People have asked the first, second. People didn't get the proper response they wanted, so they stopped asking, and then disastrous consequences. It's okay to not be okay. It's not okay to stay not okay. Fair? Now, more news from this Tuesday. Team Canada's Rachel Homan edged Italy's Stefania Constantini 8-7 in an extra end this morning to remain unbeaten at the World Women's Curling Championship and extend her overall win streak to 21 games. Homan now 5-0 at the World Women's. I think she's going to sweep this sucker. Pun not intended. The Western Hockey League announced that Tarek Parasak of the Prince George Cougars has been named Player of the Week. The 2024 NHL draft-eligible forward led all Dubsters with 11 points and a +3 rating in 4 games last week. Meanwhile, Vancouver Giants goaltender Brett Merwald, has been named Goalie of the Week. The 20-year-old led all Dubster goalies with a 3-0 record, a 1.34 GAA, and a .956 save percentage. It's the 5th time he's won it this season. Why'd the Warriors get rid of him, Clark? Quasi-rhetorical question there. But, yeah, Brett Merwald lighting it up with the Vancouver Giants. 5 times this season he's been named Goalie of the Week. That's incredible. Tracking the changes upending college sports can be as frenetic as keeping up during the first week of March Madness. Ultimately, those changes could impact what America's favorite basketball tournament looks like in the future. News about athlete compensation, player unions, and realignment in conferences dominate discussions. Everything in college sports is open for discussion, interpretation, and adjustment. That includes the industry's most hallowed tradition, the NCAA basketball tournaments, March Madness, which begin this week and will stretch from coast to coast. The bottom line behind it all is money. Don't let me forget these sponsor reads, but I just want to tell you a story. I went for lunch on the weekend with a college football athlete, and he picked up the tab. And I said, "What are you doing? You're a teenager. I'll get it." He's like, "No, I got lots of NIL money." I was like, "Okay." So much for struggling college students. So much for struggling student college athletes. I got it. I got lots of NIL money. Name, image, likeness. Oh, okay. You don't got to tell me twice. But to try and get a handle on all of what they're saying, I'm slowly getting a handle on that, the realignment, the NIL. But the March Madness tournament, the play-in, what the hell is it? The first four spots will be decided, 2 tonight, 2 tomorrow. I can't. But I will say this, the University of South Florida is visiting Central Florida tonight. I'll probably watch that game, because now I got friends in it. That's the whole side of my life that people don't even know. Sports Update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Horizon, an American saga. In the great tradition of Warner Brothers Pictures, iconic westerns, Horizon, an American saga explores the lure of the Old West and how it was won and lost through the blood, sweat, and tears of many. Produced by and starring Kevin Costner. And also brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. Well, I'll tell you what, we got through everything today. It's just weird. It's weird. Things aren't supposed to go according to plan. We talked March Madness, World Women's Curling, NHL last night and tonight, CFL, NFL. A lot of J's. James watching in Calgary. Thank you, James. He's my horse racing guy, harness racing guy, right, James? He writes in and says, "Is JJ?" He's watching on Game Plus Television right now. Would you do me a favor and say hey to the gang at Century Downs and tell them we miss them and hope to see them this summer? He says, is J.J. McCarthy the answer for the Vikings at quarterback? Signed, James in Calgary. I know you're a fan of the purple. And number one, I would say, you'd better hope so, James. Number two, he better be available when you're drafting. And number three, I don't know how much you watch this show, James, but I've been talking about how the fact that J.J. McCarthy is my guy, especially if you know his story at Michigan, only led them to a national championship. He's a professional, obviously, but there are 3 quarterbacks rated ahead of him in the first round of this draft. So if he ends up in Minnesota, I'd say Godspeed to him and the Vikings. But he's a good one. Troy is watching in, where are you, Troy? Swift Current, Sask. He says Hnidy was part of the massive trade that brought Dean McKemmond to Swift's WHL championship team. Yeah, I don't think Hnidy's forgot that either, but we had a great time in PA. A great time in PA. Kenny from Vancouver writes in. He says, my hometown's Regina. Where do you think the Vancouver Canucks end the year in the Western Conference because of the Thatcher Demko injury? I put them 5th or 6th. Rod, you're the best in the business. Thank you, Kenny in Vancouver. I'm going to keep him at number 1. Maybe try playing some defense. Thatcher Demko isn't the only reason the Vancouver Canucks have been number 1 for most of the year in the National Hockey League. I sure as heck wouldn't drop him to 5th or 6th. But thank you for the kind words, Kenny, and thanks for watching it on Game Plus TV. Johnny in Winnipeg writes in and says, Calder Trophy. That's it. With the trophy emoji. What's that supposed to mean? Explain yourself. We're done. We'll finish these tomorrow. See you at noon Eastern.
Who has more fun than us?